You are not human, and you actually never were. This is the life story of chosen ones. What if everything you've ever known about yourself is only a small part of a much larger reality? Imagine this for a moment. What if you aren't just a human being, defined by your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in this physical world? What if you never truly were just human at all? These are big questions, ones that shake the foundations of our ordinary beliefs about existence. The typical way we see ourselves is often so limited. We're born, we live, and eventually we die. But what if the core of who you are has existed before this life and will continue long after? In this video, we'll explore the profound mystery of your true essence, going beyond the idea that you are just a body with a soul. You are the soul. The body is simply the temporary shell, the vehicle through which you, the soul, experience this earthly plane. So who are you beyond the flesh, beyond your thoughts, and beyond this temporary identity? Let's uncover a deeper reality, a truth that has been understood by spiritual traditions throughout history. For centuries, philosophers and mystics have argued that the physical body is not the source of your being, but a tool for the soul's expression. This isn't just philosophical speculation. It is a shift in understanding that has the potential to change the way you see your entire life. The great question we begin with is, what lies beyond your human form? What is the essence of you that transcends this physical world? Let's step beyond what we've been taught and venture into the realm where the soul, not the body, defines existence. Imagine for a second, if you are not this body, who are you? What if the truth of your existence is far more profound than we typically imagine? As you watch this, take a moment to reflect on what you identify with most. Is it your name, your thoughts, your memories? All of these are tied to the body and the mind, but they are only temporary, fleeting elements. So, who is the you that experiences them? It's time to challenge your own assumptions and dive deeper into the question of identity. This is not about rejecting the human experience, but expanding it to understand a more profound truth, that you are, at your core, an eternal soul. You are not your body. Now let's take the first step in breaking down the illusion that you are your body. We say things like my body, but by doing so, we unknowingly reveal a truth. If the body is yours, it cannot be you. Think about it. When you say my hand or my head, it's as though you are talking about something you possess, not what you fundamentally are. You are something separate from these parts, a deeper awareness behind the body. This understanding is ancient. In fact, many spiritual traditions have long held that the body is merely a vessel. In ancient Egyptian wisdom, it's said that the body is like a star bound to earth, and only through struggle can it free itself. This struggle is part of the soul's evolution, a journey through physical limitation to unlock its true, boundless nature. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, one of the oldest known spiritual texts, speak to this reality. The body is not a prison but a temporary vehicle that allows the soul to navigate and grow within the constraints of the material world. Similarly, in Hinduism, the body is seen as an instrument. The soul, referred to as Atman, is eternal, but it takes on various bodies across lifetimes, each one just a tool to help the soul grow closer to its true divine nature. This reflects the idea that the body is a mere outfit the soul wears for its experience in the physical world. This is echoed in spiritual philosophies across the globe, but the core message remains the same. Your true essence is far beyond this flesh and bone. Take a moment to challenge the idea of body identification. Is this physical form really you, or is it just a temporary experience? When we're born, we immediately begin to identify with our bodies and the roles society gives us. But if the body changes, If it ages, weakens, or even fails, what happens to the sense of I am? Does it vanish, or is there something that remains unchanged? Perhaps you are not this body at all, but the awareness, the soul that continues to exist even as the body comes and goes. The eternal nature of the soul. Now that we've questioned the reality of the body as you, it's time to explore what remains, the soul. You've likely heard the phrase, you have a soul, but here's the real insight. You don't have a soul. You are the soul. The body is temporary, but the soul is eternal, unchanging, and ever-present. Hindu philosophy speaks of the soul as Atman, the true self, which remains constant through every experience and lifetime. It's an ancient understanding of the self that is not bound by time, space, or form. The Upanishads, sacred Hindu texts, offer the phrase Tattvamasi, meaning, you are that. This reminds us that our soul is not separate from the universal consciousness, but a reflection of it. Think about the soul as the driver of a car. The car, your body, is crucial for getting through the physical world. It can speed up, slow down, break down, or be replaced, but the driver remains the same. No matter how damaged or outdated the car becomes, it doesn't change the identity of the person driving it. Your soul, like the driver, is the true essence that navigates life's journey, using the body as a tool, but never being defined by it. In many cultures, this eternal nature of the soul is celebrated. The ancient Greeks, for instance, spoke of the soul as something that exists beyond death, living on in realms unseen by human eyes. The Stoic philosophers believed the soul was part of a greater cosmic order, emphasizing that while the body may perish, the soul continues to exist within the universal plan. Even in the Bible, there are references to the eternal nature of the spirit, such as in Ecclesiastes 12:7, where it states, "The dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it." This perspective is empowering because it reminds you that no matter what happens in the physical world, whether your body suffers, weakens, or changes, the real you, the soul, remains unaffected. This awareness can be incredibly liberating as it allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with a sense of peace. When you realize that you are the eternal soul, not the temporary body, everything changes. You begin to see your physical life for what it truly is, a brief moment in the soul's timeless journey. Consciousness, the essence of you. If the body is just a temporary vessel and the soul is the eternal driver, then what exactly is the essence of you? It all comes down to consciousness. Consciousness is the awareness that allows you to perceive your experiences. You are not the objects of your awareness, your thoughts, emotions, or body, but the perceiver behind them. In this sense, you are not the things you experience. You are the awareness that experiences them. In Vedanta philosophy, consciousness is divided into 4 states: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and turiya. The first 3 are familiar to all of us. We live our lives in a waking state, we dream while asleep, and we experience the deep, restful state of sleep. But turiya is something different. It is pure consciousness, a state beyond form, time, and space. It is the ground of all being, the eternal witness to all that happens, yet untouched by any of it. When you are in this state, you recognize that you are not merely the body or mind, but the awareness behind it all. This idea isn't limited to Eastern philosophy. In fact, it resonates with spiritual teachings across cultures. The Sufi mystics, for instance, speak of the Ruh, the immortal spirit or soul that is connected to the divine. This spirit is the pure consciousness that observes life without attachment to the material world. Similarly, In the teachings of Buddhism, there is an emphasis on the idea that the self, as we typically understand it, is an illusion. What we think of as I is just a collection of passing phenomena, thoughts, sensations, and experiences. But beneath these is consciousness, the observer that remains constant, even as everything else changes. When you begin to understand yourself as consciousness rather than a physical entity, you realize that nothing in this world can truly harm you. The body may experience pain or pleasure, success or failure, but these are just fluctuations in the material world. You, as pure consciousness, remain unchanged. This is the essence of spiritual awakening, realizing that you are not your experiences, but the observer of them. And once you understand this, a whole new world of possibilities opens up. Life becomes less about avoiding suffering and more about embracing the soul's eternal nature. Illusions of the waking state. Let's explore the illusion that surrounds us in the waking state. We go about our daily lives thinking that what we see, feel, and experience is real in the most concrete sense. But consider this: when you dream, everything seems real until you wake up. The dream feels vivid, with sights, sounds, emotions, and even physical sensations. Yet, when you wake up, you immediately recognize that it was nothing more than an illusion created by your mind. What if this waking life is another form of dream? Many spiritual traditions suggest that our waking reality may not be as solid as it seems. In Buddhism, for instance, the concept of Maya, the illusion of the material world, reminds us that our senses and perceptions are limited, often clouded by desire and attachment. We live in a state of ignorance, believing that the physical world is all there is, when, in fact, it is just one layer of reality. Just as you experience your dreams and take them to be real while you are in them, you take your waking life to be real, because your consciousness is currently operating within this particular state. But the question is, who is the one that's observing all of this? The Taoist philosopher Chuang Tzu presents a fascinating analogy. He tells the story of dreaming that he was a butterfly, blissfully unaware of being human. Upon waking, he was left to wonder whether he was a man who had dreamed of being a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming of being a man. This profound metaphor asks us to reconsider the nature of our reality, and whether what we experience is truly the most fundamental aspect of existence. Could it be that we are all dreamers, navigating through different states of awareness, mistaking them for the totality of reality? What if there is a deeper observer, one that transcends both the dream and the waking state? This observer is your soul, the pure consciousness that remains constant through all states of awareness, whether you are awake, dreaming, or in deep sleep. This is what the ancient philosophies are pointing toward: the idea that the true you is the unchanging awareness behind it all. The waking state, then, is just another experience, like a dream. Your consciousness is projecting this experience for the purpose of growth, learning, and evolution. Once you begin to understand this, the attachments to the material world start to loosen, and you can begin to perceive life as a beautiful but temporary illusion that serves a greater spiritual purpose. Reincarnation, the soul's journey across lifetimes. If the waking state is another form of illusion, then what happens when the body dies? The answer lies in the concept of reincarnation, a spiritual belief held by many ancient cultures, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and ancient Egyptian teachings. Reincarnation suggests that your soul doesn't end when the body does. Instead, it continues its journey across different lifetimes, moving through various physical forms and experiences to evolve. This perspective is beautifully captured in the Bhagavad Gita, where the soul is compared to a person changing clothes. Just as you discard old garments when they're worn out, the soul discards the body at the end of each life and takes on a new one. Each incarnation is an opportunity for the soul to learn new lessons, overcome karmic obstacles, and get closer to the ultimate truth of its existence. This cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is not a punishment, but a sacred journey, one that allows the soul to grow in wisdom and strength. From this vantage point, life becomes more than just a single, fleeting experience. It becomes part of a grand cosmic story, one that spans across time and space. Every challenge, every joy, and every sorrow you face in this lifetime is not random. It is part of the soul's journey. Each experience is a lesson, helping the soul evolve toward higher consciousness. This idea is echoed in the concept of karma, where the actions and intentions from past lives shape the circumstances of the present one. But reincarnation isn't about reward or punishment. It's about the soul seeking balance, healing, and growth through a variety of experiences. Even outside of Eastern traditions, the idea of the soul continuing after death has a long history. The ancient Egyptians believed that the soul, comprising different aspects like the Ka, spiritual double, and Ba, transcendent self, continued its journey through various realms after death, eventually finding its place in the afterlife. This resonates with the idea that the soul is not bound to a single physical body or experience, but is an eternal traveler across the cosmos. Reincarnation asks us to broaden our perspective on life and death. The body may die, but the soul doesn't. Each life, each body, is just one chapter in a much larger story. The true you, the soul, is timeless and continues its journey across lifetimes, learning, growing, and evolving with each incarnation. Understanding this helps shift our focus from the temporary struggles of the physical world to the eternal nature of the soul's progression. The soul force, power beyond the physical. If reincarnation is the soul's journey across lifetimes, what fuels this journey? It's the soul force, the vital energy that connects the soul to the universe and powers its evolution. In different traditions, this energy is known by different names: prana in Hinduism, chi in Taoism, and Ra in ancient Egyptian teachings. But no matter what you call it, this force is the lifeblood of the soul, allowing it to interact with the physical world while maintaining its connection to the divine. The soul is not limited to the body. In fact, the body is just a small part of the soul's experience. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, ancient texts attributed to the Egyptian god of wisdom, tell us that the soul's power or soul force grows stronger through struggle. Like a star that is bound to earth by gravity, the soul is tethered to the physical body, but through the challenges of life, it gains strength and eventually breaks free from its earthly limitations. This struggle is not something to be avoided, but embraced, because it is through struggle that the soul evolves. The ancient Egyptians believed that the soul had the ability to transcend the physical world and connect with higher realms of existence. This is where the concept of Ra, the life force, comes in. Ra wasn't just a sun god in Egyptian mythology. He represented the divine energy that flows through all living things. This same idea exists in Hinduism, where prana, the life force, sustains both the body and the soul. In Taoism, Qi is the vital energy that connects the soul to the cosmos and flows through all living beings. These different cultures understood that the soul is not just an observer of life, but an active participant, channeling a powerful energy that fuels both spiritual and physical existence. Understanding the soul force helps us realize that we are not passive beings, simply carried along by fate. We are channels of divine energy, capable of great power and transformation. This energy is not something external, but something that exists within each of us. The soul force is a reminder that our potential is far greater than we often realize. It is the fuel that powers the soul's journey, allowing us to overcome obstacles, learn, and evolve. Recognizing this inner power shifts our focus from the limitations of the body to the boundless potential of the soul. Overcoming challenges for spiritual growth. Challenges are an inevitable part of life, but from the perspective of the soul, they serve a much greater purpose. Every hardship, every obstacle, every moment of suffering is an opportunity for spiritual growth. Just as a muscle strengthens through resistance, the soul evolves through challenges. These moments are not random, nor are they meant to break you. They are essential parts of your soul's journey towards self-realization. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher, once said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." While this may sound like a motivational cliché, there is a deep spiritual truth behind it. When faced with adversity, the soul has two choices: to shrink in fear or to rise in strength. The struggles we encounter are opportunities to tap into the soul force, to connect with that deeper part of ourselves that transcends the limitations of the physical world. In doing so, we not only overcome the immediate challenge, but we also expand the power of the soul. This concept is echoed in countless spiritual traditions. In Hinduism, the idea of karma suggests that every challenge we face is a direct result of actions in previous lifetimes. But these challenges are not punishments. They are lessons designed to help the soul evolve. Similarly, in Buddhism, suffering is seen as a natural part of life, but it is also the key to enlightenment. By confronting suffering with awareness and compassion, we learn to let go of attachment and move closer to spiritual freedom. The soul grows through resistance. Every time you face a difficult situation and choose to approach it with patience, courage, and faith, you are strengthening your soul force. Life's challenges are not here to destroy you. They are here to shape you into the fullest expression of your soul's potential. By embracing these struggles, rather than avoiding them, you tap into a deeper, more powerful part of yourself. This is the essence of spiritual growth. The Bardo and beyond. What happens after death? Death has always been one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Every culture, religion, and philosophy has attempted to make sense of what happens after the body ceases to function. From a spiritual perspective, death is not the end of existence, but a transition from one state to another. Tibetan Buddhism provides a profound insight into this through the concept of the Bardo, a state that exists between death and rebirth. It's in the Bardo that the soul experiences an intense journey, one that can determine its next incarnation, or, in some cases, its liberation from the cycle of birth and death. The Bardo is described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a sacred text that offers guidance to souls navigating this intermediary state. According to this tradition, after death, the soul enters a period of profound transformation. It encounters various peaceful and wrathful deities, symbolic representations of its own karmic tendencies. These entities are not external beings, but reflections of the soul's inner state, fears, attachments, and desires that it has accumulated throughout its lives. For the unawakened soul, these visions can be terrifying, creating confusion and fear, which may lead the soul back into the cycle of rebirth. But for the enlightened soul, the Bardo is a gateway to liberation. By recognizing that these terrifying entities are mere projections of the mind, the soul can transcend its attachments to the material world and achieve spiritual freedom. This is where the practice of mindfulness and meditation during life becomes crucial. The more we cultivate awareness and detachment while alive, the more prepared we are to navigate the bardo after death. Enlightenment is essentially the realization that the self, whether in life, death, or the bardo, is an illusion. It's the soul's recognition of its true eternal nature beyond form. This idea of a transitional state after death is not unique to Tibetan Buddhism. Many other cultures and spiritual traditions have similar beliefs. In ancient Egypt, the soul was thought to pass through various trials in the afterlife, guided by the god Osiris, before reaching its final resting place. These trials were also symbolic of the soul's inner journey, facing its own truth, weighing its heart against the feather of Ma'at, representing cosmic order and justice. Both the Egyptian and Tibetan traditions reflect a deeper understanding that what happens after death is a continuation of the soul's journey, shaped by the choices it made in life. So what happens after death? The answer depends on the soul's level of awareness. For most, it's a continuation of the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. For those who have cultivated spiritual wisdom, it's an opportunity to break free from this cycle and merge with the universal consciousness. Death, then, is not something to be feared, but understood as a transition, one that offers both challenge and possibility for spiritual growth. The multidimensional nature of the soul. Now that we've discussed the soul's journey through life, death, and the bardo, let's dive into the multidimensional nature of the soul itself. The soul is not a simple, singular entity. Across many spiritual traditions, it is understood as having different aspects, each contributing to its journey through both physical and non-physical realms. The ancient Egyptians, for example, had a complex understanding of the soul, breaking it down into different parts such as the ka and ba. The ka was seen as the ethereal double or spiritual energy that remained connected to the body after death, while the ba was the part of the soul that transcended the physical world and could move freely between realms. The ba was often depicted as a bird with a human head, symbolizing the soul's ability to leave the body and travel beyond. These ideas reflect the belief that the soul exists on multiple levels at once, engaging with both the material and spiritual worlds simultaneously. This concept is mirrored in many other cultures as well. In the ancient Greek tradition, the soul was seen as tripartite, consisting of reason, spirit, and appetite. Each of these aspects governed a different part of human experience. Reason connected to logic and understanding, spirit to emotions and desires, and appetite to bodily needs. This tripartite model suggests that the soul operates on various dimensions, both in the mental and physical realms, seeking balance and harmony among them. Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, also presents a layered understanding of the soul. In Sufi teachings, the soul is referred to as the Ruh, the immortal essence that is inherently connected to the divine. The Sufi path is one of purifying the soul, stripping away the ego, and realizing its unity with God. This purification process acknowledges that the soul is multidimensional, entangled in worldly desires and attachments, but capable of transcendence through spiritual discipline. Even in Norse mythology, we find the idea of the fylgja, a spirit or guide that is part of a person's soul and follows them throughout life. The fylgja was believed to represent a person's fate or luck, indicating that the soul is not just a passive entity, but has active, guiding forces working alongside it. These various perspectives from different cultures point to a common truth. The soul is far more complex than we often realize. It operates on multiple planes of existence, interacting with both the material world and higher realms. Understanding this multidimensional nature of the soul can shift how we view ourselves and our place in the universe. Rather than seeing ourselves as confined to a single body or identity, we begin to understand that we are part of a vast interconnected web of existence capable of moving between dimensions of being. The soul is not limited to the human experience. It is a multifaceted, dynamic force, constantly evolving and expanding. Your soul's role in the present moment. If the soul exists across multiple dimensions and transcends the boundaries of life and death, what role does it play in your present life? The answer lies in recognizing that your current human experience is not separate from your soul's eternal journey. It is an integral part of it. Every thought, action, and decision you make is a reflection of your soul, expressing itself through your body and mind. But the key is to live with awareness, understanding that your true identity is not bound by the limitations of the body or the ego. In everyday life, it's easy to get caught up in the distractions of the material world: work, relationships, success, and failure. These experiences can pull you away from the deeper truth of who you are. But when you remember that you are a soul having a human experience, not a human who occasionally taps into spirituality, everything shifts. The present moment becomes an opportunity for your soul to grow, learn, and express itself in alignment with its true nature. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in this process. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts, emotions, and actions without becoming attached to them. This is crucial because attachment is what binds the soul to the material world, creating suffering and confusion. When you practice mindfulness, you create space between your true self, the soul, and the fleeting experiences of your human life. This allows you to act from a place of clarity and wisdom, rather than reacting impulsively to the ups and downs of life. Meditation is another practice that can help you connect with your soul in the present moment. Through meditation, you quiet the mind, letting go of the constant stream of thoughts that usually dominates your awareness. In this stillness, you can begin to sense the presence of your soul, the eternal consciousness that exists beyond the mind. This connection helps you navigate life with a deeper sense of purpose and alignment, making each moment a reflection of your soul's truth. By understanding your soul's role in the present moment, you can transform how you experience life. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Instead of being consumed by the temporary material aspects of life, you start to recognize the deeper spiritual lessons embedded in every experience. This is what it means to live in alignment with your soul's purpose, to act with awareness, compassion, and wisdom, knowing that every moment is part of your soul's eternal journey. The unity of all souls and the universal consciousness. If your soul is eternal, transcending both time and space, what does this mean in relation to other souls? Are we all separate entities, isolated in our individual journeys, or is there a deeper connection that binds all of us together? The answer lies in the understanding that your soul is not an isolated fragment of consciousness, but a part of a much greater whole, the universal consciousness. This idea is reflected in many spiritual traditions, all of which point to the ultimate truth. We are all interconnected, like individual waves on the same ocean of existence. In the Hermetic tradition, the principle of correspondence teaches, as above, so below, as within, so without. This ancient wisdom suggests that the same patterns and laws that govern the universe also apply to the individual's soul. Just as every drop of water in the ocean contains the essence of the entire ocean, each soul carries within it the essence of universal consciousness. This realization breaks down the illusion of separateness and invites us to see ourselves as integral parts of a larger, divine organism. This interconnectedness is also emphasized in the teachings of non-dualism, particularly in Hinduism and Buddhism. The Vedantic philosophy of Advaita, non-duality, asserts that Atman, the soul, and Brahman, the universal consciousness, are one and the same. While we may perceive ourselves as separate beings in our individual human experiences, the truth is that we are all expressions of the same consciousness. The Upanishads, one of Hinduism's sacred texts, encapsulates this truth with the phrase Tat Tvam Asi, meaning, "You are that." This simple yet profound statement reminds us that there is no fundamental difference between the soul and the universe. They are one. Philosophers such as Baruch Spinoza also echoed this truth in Western philosophy through the idea of pantheism, the belief that God and the universe are identical. In Spinoza's view, everything in existence is a manifestation of the divine. God, or the universal consciousness, is not separate from the world. It is the very substance of everything that exists. Your soul, therefore, is a part of this divine fabric, inseparable from the totality of the universe. Understanding this unity transforms the way we view not only ourselves, but also others. When we realize that we are all interconnected parts of the same universal consciousness, it becomes impossible to see ourselves as truly separate. The divisions we create between self and other, between different races, religions, or nations, are illusions born out of ignorance. At the level of the soul, there is no division. We are all one, and the suffering of one is the suffering of all. This realization opens the door to a life of greater compassion, empathy, and love, not only for those around us, but for all beings, because to harm another is to harm yourself. This unity also carries with it profound implications for how we approach life's challenges and opportunities. When you recognize that your soul is part of the universal consciousness, you begin to see that your purpose is not separate from the greater purpose of existence. The soul's journey is not just about individual growth or achievement. It's about contributing to the evolution of consciousness as a whole. Every thought, every action, every choice you make ripples out into the greater whole, influencing not only your own evolution, but that of the entire universe. The cosmic purpose of incarnation. Why does the soul choose to incarnate in the physical realm? Is this life simply an accident of existence, or is there a deeper cosmic purpose behind it? According to spiritual wisdom from various traditions, incarnation is far from random. The soul deliberately chooses to take on a physical form as part of a larger divine plan, a journey toward self-realization and union with the universal consciousness. In this sense, incarnation is not a punishment or a fall from grace, as some belief systems suggest. Rather, it is a sacred opportunity for the soul to experience growth, learn new lessons, and evolve in wisdom. The physical world, with all its joys, challenges, and suffering, serves as a classroom for the soul. Each experience you have, whether it's a moment of bliss or a moment of pain, offers a valuable lesson that contributes to the soul's evolution. From this perspective, life is not something to escape from, but something to embrace fully as part of the soul's quest for greater understanding. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, a philosopher and Jesuit priest, offered a compelling vision of the soul's cosmic purpose through his concept of the Omega Point. He believed that all souls are evolving toward a divine union with the universe, a point at which consciousness and matter will fully merge, creating a state of ultimate enlightenment and harmony. This is the final goal of the soul's journey, the culmination of countless lifetimes and experiences. Each incarnation, then, is a step on the path toward this ultimate destination. The soul's decision to incarnate is guided by a deep inner wisdom. It knows that physical life, despite its limitations and suffering, is essential for growth. Just as a seed must be planted in the soil and endure the harsh conditions of the earth to grow into a tree, the soul must take on a physical body and navigate the challenges of life to realize its full potential. Every struggle, every triumph, and every lesson brings the soul closer to its true nature, which is unity with the divine. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that the soul is eternal and cannot be destroyed. It moves from body to body, life to life, in a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, constantly evolving. But this cycle is not endless. The soul is always moving toward a higher state of being, ultimately seeking liberation, freedom from the cycle of reincarnation and reunion with the universal consciousness. This liberation, known as moksha in Hinduism, is the ultimate purpose of incarnation. But even this idea of liberation doesn't suggest a rejection of life. Instead, it points to the understanding that life itself, in all its forms and experiences, is a vital part of the soul's journey toward realizing its divine nature. The purpose of incarnation is to bring the soul closer to a state of enlightenment, not by escaping the world, but by fully engaging with it, learning from it, and growing through it. The soul incarnates not just to exist, but to experience, to evolve, and to reunite with the source of all creation. As we come to the end of this journey, let's reflect on everything we've explored. From the initial idea that you are not just human, that you are a soul, an eternal being inhabiting a physical form, through to the deeper realizations about consciousness, reincarnation, and the interconnectedness of all souls, a profound truth begins to emerge. You are far more than your body, your thoughts, or your experiences. You are a timeless soul navigating the complexities of physical life as part of an infinite cosmic journey. Your soul, as we've seen, is not bound by the limitations of the body or the physical world. It transcends time and space, existing across multiple dimensions, constantly learning, evolving, and growing. Each lifetime, each experience, is an opportunity for the soul to move closer to its ultimate purpose, union with the universal consciousness. The body may be temporary, but the soul is eternal, and its journey is one of infinite potential. But this journey is not just about personal evolution. It's about contributing to the greater whole, recognizing that your soul is connected to all other souls and to the universe itself. You are part of a vast interconnected web of existence where every action, thought, and experience plays a role in the unfolding of the cosmos. The more you align with your soul's purpose, the more you contribute to the evolution of consciousness as a whole. So what now? How do you live in alignment with this deeper truth? The first step is to shift your perspective. Recognize that you are not your body, your thoughts, or your emotions. These are tools for the soul's expression, but they are not the essence of who you are. Begin to see life as an opportunity for your soul to learn, grow, and evolve. Embrace challenges as chances for growth, and approach each moment with the awareness that you are part of something much greater than yourself. Finally, cultivate practices that help you connect with your soul, whether through mindfulness, meditation, or simply reflecting on the deeper purpose of your life. As you do, you'll begin to live in greater alignment with your soul's true nature, experiencing life not as a series of random events, but as a purposeful journey towards spiritual awakening and self-realization. You are not human. You are a timeless soul experiencing life in this physical realm to grow and awaken. Embrace this truth and live each day with the awareness that your journey is far more profound and meaningful than you ever imagined. If you want to explore this truth further, make sure to like and subscribe for more explorations into the true nature of the self. But before you go, what does this journey mean to you? Do you feel connected to your soul's purpose? Could the challenges you face in life be part of a larger cosmic plan? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this exploration together.